So welcome to today's live session. Today we are talking about monitoring quality or algae from space using a Digital Earth Africa platform. And for most of you who've been using the platform, you've had some successes in using the platform, especially in your projects and research. So Digital Earth Africa program has been there the last 4 years, and our mission has been that to serve all the sectors, addressing sectors from agriculture, water, land, coastal, and urbanization. And we have also had very many use cases from all of you. And you can access the platform from the Digital Africa map, as well as the Sandbox, other GIS software. And also we have our free online learning platform. So in today's topic, monitoring chlorophyll from above, our water bodies have experienced some changes, and that we've been asked how can actually see from space. So from Sentinel-2 at 10 meters, there's an index called Normalised Difference Chlorophyll Index, which gives you an idea of water quality from space, which was research developed in 2012 and serves as an qualitative indicator for concentration of chlorophyll in most of water bodies. So most of the bodies, as you see, are affected by algae blooms. Some will appear green, some will appear blue. And in this context of Digital Africa, we have some examples. This is an example of Lake Chevero in Zimbabwe. So the notebook which we've developed gives you this workflow where you can go to an area of interest, and you'll be able to get the water extent index, where you use the bands, green and shortwave infrared. Then we're able to compute the normalized difference chlorophyll index, which you can see from the Sentinel-2 bands, red edge 1 and the red band. Once you load the area of interest, we'll compute the indices and we'll be able to generate some information which gives us an idea of the presence of chlorophyll. So as we move in the notebook, these are the extent of the area in Lake Chevero in Zimbabwe. We're able to see the plot of the water index over time, and this gives you an indication of how much has changed over time. And then you can also pick in some low points in terms of the water extent and the times where the quality, the extent has been high, which could also affect the quality of the lake. So what you've seen mostly whenever we have notebooks will be attributed to quality will be not so good, and then when there's excess, the quality somehow will change over time. So in this example, you can actually see from the different dates from 2018 to 2020 as an example, and you can see the extent over time. This is the extent and this is the quality, and you can see when we have low times of the quality, you see we have good precipitation. The lake is at full. When it's low, that one will change over time. Then to give you an idea, this is how we have the change over time plotted against the time, and you can see the index as a value. So we have times when the quality is, the values you'll see, and you'll see also the plots, the time steps, and you can see when we have a lot of algae, how the situation looks and how the curve actually looks. So it's more indicative of areas where you'd require to do more ground testing for validation, and also some reports of some of the water bodies that you've experienced over time. So this is the general workflow in your sandbox. We have the notebook on chlorophyll in your real world examples. And here we'll be able to change the notebook to our area of extent, like Chevero, and we load the Sentinel-2 at, then you have the extent of the area, and you'll have the images returned in terms of Sentinel-2. Then when you look at the timestamps, you can see the times and compute the water index. Then we'll also compute the water quality index, and we'll be able to have a summary of what has happened over time. And this is what I was trying to show. And you can see different timestamps. And also in our summary, you can see the different times, and picking a few areas, we can see the quality of how it was, and higher values like this one, a lot of algae, and this can be very useful for various interpretation. And then from this, now we can be able to see another example. I had generated a few examples for us. This is an example of Lake Rekba in Senegal, always called Lac Rose. It appears as pink from space, a lot of salt. And when you zoom in, you can be able to see how this one works. And the same, we'll be able to have some images of the area with good cloud cover. And then we'll be able to compute the index, the water extent, as well as the water quality. And you can see a lot of variability for that particular lake. And that similarly appears for the results of our work. Then when you look at another lake, Lake Ziwa in Ethiopia, which has been fairly stable, it's one of the Rift Valley lakes, we can see the extent, and we can be able to load the images. And here you can see the different results, and you can see the plot when the extent of the water, the lowest point, and the restoration. And this one similarly affects the water quality. So this one actually is one of the factors as well as other factors like pollution, etc., etc. And also, I could also just show you how you can actually do this on your Digital Africa map. In the map viewer, you're able to load Sentinel-2 data, the example of Lake Chivero, and we can look at the cloud-free mosaics, and you can see an average of what has happened over a year. And you can see when you work with different extents, the quality towards the red doesn't look very good. As you can know, the quality of water from blue looks very nice for visualization. And you can see how the trend is for this particular Lake Chivero. So you can actually see from your D-Africa maps, then you go to the sandbox just to validate some of the results. Then you can also do a comparison of some of the water bodies. And this is the best part of being part of the live session, because we could share with examples that you'd like us to see or also to note from your areas. This is another example for wetland ability, the case of Lake Bogoria, which is a hot spring, and the quality will change over time. And this is just an example of Lake Turkana, and using a certain notebook can be able to see the wetland ability in the north area where it has been affected. So when we also talk about this monitoring chlorophyll, we also have other notebooks that we wish to make you aware. Of course, we are looking at the chlorophyll notebook. We had another notebook which was using Landsat data to look at the water quality. Then also we have our water observation from space using Landsat, and now we can also use Sentinel-2. And these are just as examples of the notebooks that we have. And also, we can also use some of the data like Sentinel-1 to look at flood monitoring. This is just showcasing what is possible with the data that we have. Then we'll also have an example to look at some of the notebooks for that one on the chlorophyll. We'll be able to use it for an example of your choice. So this was an impact of floods in Kenya around April and May. And you can see the areas in red, areas which were affected by floods. So this is just extending the capabilities of today's presentation to what else you can do with the water resources, looking at the extent, having a feel of the land, Sentinel-1 cloud-free mosaics, which are of course cloud-free, and of course loading other water observation from space to complement what we already have. So all these services are for us to make sure that we share with you. And of course, we'll share a recording of today's presentation that you'll be able to be more empowered to use the platform for your different application. So when we look at the other one example, that one was on floods. Then also we can look at droughts, especially what we had in Southern Africa, Cape Town, the Potterskloof Dam. We had droughts 2016, 2017, and fairly we received restoration with good rains. And the same dam we can confirm using the water bodies service, which gives you an idea of what has happened over that 5 years. And you can see the early times of the dam and other times when there was a lot of variability happening over time, even picking the periods of droughts around this time. Then also we can use the Landsat 8 and 9 to have a feel of algae blooms, and then we can actually zoom in further and use other data sets to do some further validation. And these are some of the online courses that we have, but I wish also to give you another demonstration of the same, what we've covered so far, as we give you an opportunity to explore the platform for your different work, and hopefully soon also you guys will be, some of you will be presenting some of your work. So maybe in the chat you can put a water body that you would like us to look at. So in the real world, we have the chlorophyll notebook, and this is an example of the water stove dam in South Africa, Cape Town, and some of the results that we got for this notebook. We could capture the extent of the drought and the restoration, and then we could also look at quality over time. That's just looking over 1 year or even over 2 years. So you can choose to change the timestamps of any of your work. So typical workflow, we just come to the extents and looking at the dates. Remember, we have Sentinel-2 from 2017, and we could look at around the same period when we talked about having drought around these years, and yours is to start and run all the cells. Then also on the platform, we had an example of La Crosse, Senegal, just the pink lake from space. So here, using our Sentinel-2, we could look also at a recent imagery and zoom into the location. So around this time could be cloud, but you can just move around different dates to get a cloud-free data. And as we do that, we also remember that we have our cloud-free mosaics called GeoMat, of which I'll use for this example. But around July, we can miss an image. Around this time, we have early this month, and you can see how it appears from space. And also, you can now go to the band that I was talking about. You can see the value. As you can see, quite a lot of salt and algae as well. Also, having the benefit of doubt of using the timestamps GeoMat, we could load Sentinel-2 data. And now this particular one, looking at the index, we can see how it looks. And also we can change from different dates to get a comparison. So here we get a comparison and have another one for a different year, so that you can actually see what has been happening over time. This is very key for looking at some of the water bodies, and also you can look at the background of the data, where we can actually change the background for different base maps. And then also we can develop a story map for the same, or actually share the URL in the chat that you can be able to use to confirm for some area of the choice. Then one of our colleagues has given us a big assignment of looking at River and Kobara. Is it near Kumasi? And there we go. And you can see the situation. Let me just try to, there we are. And this is the situation. So when I load on the right, I'll be able to see something, some areas. And also when you're not sure, we can always go back to the original view, where we can remove the base map and remain with the GeoMat. And this is the area. And as you can see, we can now change the bands to the index one. We can see the change time. Then you remember I had two views, and this is the one that I get. So I can compare between two dates and see how the situation is impacted. Then the other part is that we could use the current image of the area, where we actually now choose a different area to zoom out to. This is very nice when you have an image that you can compare with. This is an image for this region. So then you remember that clouds is an issue as well. So I'll go to the simple RGB, where now I can actually get, I can choose to look for a date of a recent in August. If I'm able to get cloud-free time. So also depends on the season, as this region now we experience rainy season. So we have all these many possibilities. Then this one, as you can see, we have different dates. This time getting a cloud one will be maybe in January, but the situation is something you can see with even the images, like that one which we showed in August. Even this one will see quite something is happening. And then we can also do work with the Landsat that 8 or 9, and looking at the false color composite of Landsat, you'll be able to get a feel of the algae bloom. So this one will look for different cloud, at least less cloud cover. But you can still see the oceans, quite something there. And I think my colleague Mensa has an idea of the situation has not been very great. But something is just, there's a lot of intervention happening that level. Then in our sandbox, we could see the situation of our notebook and how far it has gone, giving us an extent of what happened in 2017 when quite the low levels of the dam, and this could correlate as well with the levels of the water quality, but it's still running in the background. And then the others we were able to see for Lake Chivero, for example, and this was some work done by the youth mappers in Zimbabwe as part of their work. And of course, this one, you've seen the Landsat. Then you can also add Landsat 8. That's a good thing. You can have a lot of comparison. Then you can also view this also in our Africa Job Portal as part of our collaboration with Esri, which is really empowering everybody to use different platforms. And as you can see, then on the Digital Africa side, on the platform, you can see how to access our map and sandbox, as well as the geo portal, where you'll be able to unlock more as well. Similar, our data is also in the Living Atlas, which makes sure that no one is left behind. This is quite useful for your work. Even the Digital Africa Explorer, giving you an opportunity to access Digital Africa data, having a feel of all these possibilities. And as I look in the chart, yes, also on the Limpopo transboundary, we can also look at the same. So the possibilities are many. So this one I could just look for, this must be Lake Tana, for example. So you could look at exploring the imagery, adding different data sets. Example, you could work with Landsat or Sentinel-2. Then you could have a feel of the false color composite, giving you an idea of the water index, as well as if the false color will also give you an idea of what is happening in terms of the quality as well. So you can see also we have the Landsat, which is key. And then you can also look at false colors as well, which will also be key to giving you some of the insights we've looked at so far. So there are many options, working closely with our partners to make sure we provide all the information that you require, and looking also for imagery that you may want for any area. It's available on our platform as well on the Explorer. And here you can also get a link which you can share similarly, like story maps. So all these are great opportunities with the platform, and also good in terms of the collaboration we have with the different partners to make sure we are all empowered. So this was the result for the water kloof. So this is the water extent, this is the water quality, and finally you get such a product which guides you on some of the dates captured, looking at the water body area and the quality. So different times. So even looking at different timestamps, etc., 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 etc. So where we were, yes. So this one has finished, and those are interesting results based on the quality. the water and the extent, and just getting some timestamps on the different areas. So I wish to pause there and summarize with the opportunities to connect with you on the platform. Of course, this was the example for Landsat and Landsat 9 and our courses in English and French, and the live sessions we've had so far in August will be available in the YouTube channel. And also thanking you guys for your support this far. Making this platform a success would not be possible without your support, and everyone connecting us through has been very useful.